Hello and welcome to the Tuesday night music show, which will be the last Tuesday night music show of the year. But it doesn't really matter because you're not going to see this until probably, I don't know, midsummer
February.
2022, the way these things get posted.
I heard October.
It might be. So, which is weird because, I'm going to do some pop topics because I really don't have anything and I want to keep it light. It's the end of the year.
Sure.
One question that I had was, kind of in general, do you guys do New Year's resolutions at all?
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, sometimes. It depends.
Never.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jay. It depends.
Nope.
I don't tell anybody what I do typically.
No, I don't make them known.
I kind of
I do
in my
I do
head.
them, I do them throughout the year. I'll say like, okay, new path.
Yeah.
But I don't wait till New Year's and now I'm
Right.
a different person. Or
I think
I'm
when
gonna
you're
stop
younger-
doing this.
Yeah, when you're younger, you view it as even having the topic of like, hey, it's end of the year. And I'm like, no, it's Tuesday. And next
Yeah.
week will be Tuesday, and there'll be 52 of them. And every year there's 52 of them. And sometimes the end of the year might be July. Like the end of my year was November because it was the last wedding I did. So technically,
Sure.
It's funny you should say that. I said the same thing. My season is over. And
Right.
then like what happened with everybody, well, at least in our little circle, like boom, getting slammed. I got 2 events in February. Like, what's up with that? This is supposed to be my downtime until my first wedding in April.
Well, I'll tell you why I look at it as a year. And it as a DJ, the reason I look at it that way is because, and it's not an issue right now, or I shouldn't call it an issue, but it's not a factor right now, would be the NAMM show. That was happening early in January. It was something to look forward to, and it was all this new stuff. So, it was New Year, new stuff as a DJ, and then you start your calendar year. That's how I always kind of looked at it. But if we were to assume the position that we did entertain something that resembled a New Year's resolution as a DJ, does anybody have anything that they'd like to work on or improve on in the following year?
Oh, I think that's a constant.
Yeah.
Is there
for
anything in
me.
particular that you're thinking, I really need to change this, or I'd like to be better with this specific thing?
I want to be able to at least do a baby scratch competently from one track to the next and not make it look like it was a wish and a prayer that I pulled it off. Because I think it throws the client into a different realm of like, whoa. Like I don't aspire to be Qbert on any level. I think it would be cool to do little stuff. But I think just once in a while, there's tracks that really kind of say, this would really build the energy up on a full dance floor if I went wiki, 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 wah.
Jay, I wish we lived closer. I do only have one hand left, but I think I could spend an hour or two with you and you'd have it mastered. It's not hard.
No, I think I've learned by watching everybody, it's not this. Like I've seen guys scratch with one finger. I just watched Kuiper and she literally just puts a finger down and goes like this and she's amazing. It's this.
Yeah.
It's like when you look at guitar, like this is the strumming hand, your right hand usually, and then it's the left hand that's pulling chords and notes and all that. And I think it's the same with scratching from what my little brain can fathom.
Well, you're looking at it. You're looking at it from an interesting perspective. You're looking at it from an art of scratch perspective, and I don't know. I'd love to work with you on this. I think
it's 2 hands working together.
Well, I think it would be fun to kind of do some philosophy on it with you, just to, kind of put the scratch into perspective. I haven't done it in a long time because I haven't brought decks out, but when you would hear a scratch in my mix, it really didn't have anything to do with, I want to put a scratch here. It had to do with throwing a song in on cue with an open fader. It wasn't like, wiki, 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 wiki. It was like, boom, it's like time to go. The fader just came over early for it. It was kind of the Grandmaster Flash way of doing things. He didn't.
But I like his style. Like I
love his style.
I can respect Shortcut and D Styles and Qbert and all these people as being very talented at the artistry of manipulating the mixer and the piece of vinyl. But I also think there's something about the bare bone roots. I mean, as much as we gain in technology, let's say with working out, it still comes down to somebody picking up a bar with weights on it and doing curls that they've been doing for 80 or 90 or 100 years.
Listen to the song.
Scratching's like that a little.
If that's what you enjoy, listen to the song by the Beastie Boys, rhyming and stealing off of License to Ill, because they're looping Sweet Leaf, and every scratch they do in there, I know exactly what. It's organic. I mean, that's just part of making the loop, and they're just going open fader on some of it.
Yeah,
listen to that and kind of get your head around that, and I think that would help you out a lot.
Yeah,
with
I'll have to check that.
I mean, I know the track, but Beastie Boys. It starts out that way. Doom. They're throwing it in. They're throwing a song in on beat, and then when they loop it, you hear a. It's I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah. Even something like some of the Incubus tracks, which are not scratch tracks, but yet like in the middle of it, all of a sudden he brings it in on beat, but he brings it in as a scratch.
Right. And so it's like it's an organic thing.
And it just sounds amazing to me. Like I like the less is more approach.
It's not scratching for scratch's sake.
No. I won't put in the time that I think you need to dedicate to become really proficient. But I'm happy to put in an hour a day for a while till I'm comfortable going, these are speaking to each other.
You need to learn how to loop tracks. That's going to be the thing that's going to open up all the doors for you, is learn how to loop tracks with records. Just looping 8 bars. And I've done videos on it. I can send you a link to it. It's not hard. You've got Serato. You got turntables. You'll be able to get your head around this pretty quick.
I want in on this because my scratching is backspin into the next song. That's the truth.
It's just throwing a song in the beat. I mean, that's how I look at it. That's where you start. I think a lot of people want to start with just moving the record back and forth and making the scratchy sound. But if you're doing it on a practical level, I feel like, I don't know, but I'm OG like that. I mean, that's what I've been told, and fine, whatever. I'll own it. I kind of am. So anyway. We'll play. Maybe we'll play around with it after the show. We'll get flagged for any music content I have on here, but perhaps
it's one of those things that I want somebody as a guest at a wedding next year that was at a wedding this year or 2 years ago to be like, "Wow, things were awesome," and you see the growth pattern. Because I think if we're not growing, that's why when I go to some of these conferences, I just shake my head like, "Is anyone here going to talk about being a DJ?" Or do you guys just want to talk about how many millions of dollars you've invested in sparklers? And it's like once in a while, you got to take it down to example, I did a set last night on Twitch. It started as techno. Well, after about 45 minutes and it was good techno, it was good mixes. I mean, I was happy with it. But after like 45 minutes, when you're by yourself in an office with 6 people watching on a computer screen, techno can start to get a little droning. So I just said, hey, Rebecca's here. JC was there, I think. John was there. I'm like, hey, anyone up for some, dark wave? Yep. I'm like, great. Let's do the next hour of dark wave. Well, as I'm doing it, one of the tracks I played that's a 2018 dark wave song had this like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da synth thing in the beginning. Well, I heard Metro by Berlin. So I grabbed Metro. I looped the first 2 bars and then mixed them over each other and went into it. And John was like, I saw that coming. That's perfect. That's awesome. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a set Wednesday, but it's going to be dark wave and 80s, darker, gothier, like Depeche Mode, New Order, Love and Rockets, The Smiths, dark wave, 9 Inch Nails. And it's a challenge because now I have to put together a set and I want to play for 3 hours. To me, that's trying to be a better DJ. And that's one of the joys of Twitch.
Well, let me just stop you and take you back a few segues. Are you planning on bringing out your turntables to events? Is that something you'd like to do?
Yes. I've got phase.
Right. Well, maybe that's something to put on
weather now. Yeah, I'd like to offer that to clients and say, this or this. This is why my fee is now here. But you choose. Do you want me to use these, or do you want me to use this? And if they go, oh, you have turntables? You got it.
There you
And I
go.
can show up with phase because I saw Shortcut on Twitch last week with slip mats and phase with no vinyl. And the light went off like, wait a second, with phase, I don't even need vinyl. So the fear of warping vinyl at 90 degrees goes away.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I just, because again, since I'm not
I think your
scratching or
warping vinyl
scratching,
thing is just weird anyway, but that's
but
another
wouldn't it
show.
warp?
You know what I
I
found
don't think so.
strange was some guys took the tone arms off of their turntables, and
You
they
don't
used
need them.
phase.
I mean, but that's I mean,
Yeah, but if you got a real piece of vinyl, wouldn't you want the ability to then be able to like pop the
play it.
phase off? And
you would
down,
think
go.
so.
I
Yeah.
would think. I mean, if you're going to do that for the client, you should have a piece of vinyl, even if it's control vinyl. Wouldn't you think?
Well,
yeah.
I think so. I've heard DJs do this, and I think it's a great idea. They get a custom white piece of vinyl,
With
and then
with their logo.
with either their logo or the bride and groom's monogram, and then they have people
Ooh.
sign it throughout the night, and they give it to the bride and groom as a present.
Oh,
That's
that's
cool.
an awesome idea.
You could get a white Serato time code,
Sure.
and then get a Sharpie, and like halfway through the night, take one of them off and replace it with a black, and go, "Hey, everybody! At some point, I need all of you to sign this. It's a gift to the bride and groom." Now everyone's going to be all stoked. They're signing this vinyl, and then at the end of the night, you give it to the bride and groom. They frame it or something, and it's kind of a cool memory of their experience with you. And maybe the middle has your company logo. Just I'm spitballing at.
Sure. Good ideas.
Yeah, but
I
it's a
wanna-
great idea. It's a great idea.
Although you do not do the New Year's resolutions, Howie, is there anything that you're thinking maybe you would like to do differently in the calendar year or change or improve on? You think
Should work on his lighting skills.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he needs
need
to
to.
work on
I
this.
need to up my game on that for sure. No, actually, I came across something that I didn't think that I would ever encounter, and now I'm actually working on. I'm working on an invention that will. I'm hoping that it will be successful, so that you can use either an iPad or a laptop or anything electronic in 30 below degree
you were
weather.
talking about that on your show? Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah, like a
it happened twice already, where they just shut down.
Extreme
And
hot,
so
extreme
now,
cold.
Like that's the thing. I get inspired by failures,
sure.
whether they're mine or anyone else's, and not to be critical of them, but to help them. Like, hey, I think
Yeah.
I can help you out. You know,
Oh, Yeah, that's how you do it. I mean, that's how I do it anyway. A problem
Yeah.
pops up and you need a solution for it, and necessity is the mother of invention, you know?
I think the heat issue to solve that, Howie, I think that's the $1 billion idea, because you look at like Vegas DJs, it's 95 degrees in March.
well,
And they're out at a pool.
That's the trick, is that I want this device to be able to do either hot or cold.
Yeah, that would be
Like
amazing.
Katy Perry.
Yeah, because like how many DJs are in 30 below zero weather that often? But
Right.
I'm in weather over 95, 100,
Right.
maybe
So-
15 weddings.
I mean, if I did have to make a resolution of sorts, I think I would work on my time management more. I tend to start, like right now, I have 3 unfinished projects
Yeah.
that I'm working on. And now this came up, and I'm so excited about doing this. I'm almost ready to start this before I finish the other 3.
Right.
And that's kind of like, I feel bad about that.
Well, I don't know if you should feel bad about that, and I'll tell you why. I don't. You may think the way I do. I don't know, but sometimes I'm working on a
Probably.
project, and I kind of, yeah. Go figure. We think alike on something.
A lot.
Sometimes I'm working on a project, and I just hit a brick wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, I can't see past this brick wall,
Mm-hmm.
but I got to get past it to finish the project, but I can't see past it. Well, sure, I could probably just hot fudge it together, but that's not what I wanted to do, right?
No.
So sometimes I'll walk away from it
Yes.
and I'll do something else.
Yes.
And then if I go back to it, I can now see past the wall and say, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I was almost too close to it at the time.
Yes.
And I do it with, I've talked about this before, with mixing. Because sometimes, I've hit brick walls with trying to do certain transitions or mixes or techniques. And I'm like, I can't do it. So let's say I was working in virtual DJ. Well, maybe I should try it on turntables for a while and see how that works. Or maybe go into a program like Ableton or Mixmeister and try it there and see how it works. Then I can go back to virtual DJ and it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. Because I just had a different perspective on it. Sometimes I feel like a person needs to walk away. If you don't have the right solution, walk away. It's there. You'll become inspired eventually. And maybe the inspiration will come from your next project. So I wouldn't even feel bad about that.
But usually the inspiration, and I know it happens to you, is you'll be sleeping and it'll be the middle of the night and you'll wake up with, oh,
there it is. Yeah.
There it is. Got to go down and work on it.
I dream mashups and mixes.
I do.
And I wake up, it's like, did I hear that somewhere? Or did I just like totally Paul McCartney that?
Yeah. Right.
What happened here? And I'll have to come down here and work it out.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's good stuff.
Well, I was stuck on, because with Jay, when you were in the summer, you were mixing and you had your camera overhead, and I loved that. And I heard other people going, put the regular camera back on, and I'm like, no, I'm watching your hands, and I'm trying to emulate some of the effects you were doing and the looping and stuff. And I got stuck. I got stuck, and I had to walk away. And then eventually it came to me, and I got that little looping effect thing that you do. And I'm like, wow, this is like magic. I was like, but I had to walk away. I did.
You do. I think that where you need to be careful, and this is a lesson I learned from my dad. Not that he ever learned it, but I watched him do it just habitually, and I just didn't want to do it. He didn't finish much. He started a lot of things, but he didn't really follow through with a lot of things. I would say out of every 50 projects he started, he completed one, and he did it perfect. But most of the time, things just went unfinished, and he never went back to them for some reason. That is a bad habit to have. But if you have a handful of projects going at once, and you're just waiting for inspiration or something to hit you to finish them, I think that's probably okay. Those are my rules. I just made them up.
No, but that works for me because it took a year for me to have the breakthrough for that drive-in movie speaker. I wanted it to still look, hey, that looks like. No, I didn't want to drill holes in it and put like an antenna or have a cord hang. I was not satisfied with the technology that I had at the time. And then it actually did come to me while I was sleeping, and I was like, I got it. I can do this. And I was so excited to do that. The only thing I felt bad about was that I didn't get it to you before
No, it's all right.
For the car shows, but
we're all looking forward. And then when I say we're all looking forward, I mean Eris, Mikey, anybody who has looking forward to using it with the exhaust tone going through it. And
I think that's brilliant. And that's why I love working with you on ideas, because I'm thinking this sounds really good, and I got a really high quality speaker, and then you took it and flipped it, and you're going to play your engine through it. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's not what I thought, but our two minds together made something completely unique. Nobody's done that. Well,
again, it's mother of invention. I mean, you look at it, you say, okay, this is really cool. It's old school, it's retro, it's been resto modded into this battery powered Bluetooth speaker. That's so cool. So it's gonna be something you can use at a car show. Well, what's going on at a car show? Usually a band,
right,
or a DJ. So it's kind of weird to play music through it. So I don't want to do that. But what could I do with it? So then it comes down to, what do you use it for? Necessity is the mother of invention. Here I am trying to demo it in a video, knowing that I'll get flagged for content if I play a song through it. So I played the exhaust tone through it. And then after I post the video, I'm thinking to myself, that's how you use it. It's exactly
That's what I did. I was like, brilliant. Freaking brilliant.
But I didn't even realize that I had come up with anything cool until after I'd posted the video.
I didn't either. I was like, I had to keep it a surprise from you. And then, had we collaborated, we probably would have came up with that sooner. But I'm glad that I kept it from you, and then you got it and just totally flipped what my vision was. And it turned out even better than my vision. So
different.
I'm over the moon.
Different
with it.
My resolution, and I do this every year, usually do it quietly. I'll go ahead and tell you what it is. For years, I've had the one particular resolution that I think I still try to remind myself of whenever something comes up. And that's just simply, you don't need anything else. Like stop getting stuff.
Yeah.
Now, it's different with tools. It's different with records.
Right.
But I don't need a hot tub. I don't need another vehicle.
Yeah.
I don't need, this crap.
People are saying the same thing about records and tools. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. And just say, somebody else is watching this going like, I have records. Screw that.
Yeah, I allow myself certain things.
Right. I need my
I just
Star
do.
Wars figures.
I would call them guilty pleasures. It's like, that's your thing, is collecting that stuff.
I have a place for those things.
Microphones. Do I need more microphones? No.
Yeah.
But it's my thing.
I'm trying not to collect. I mean, I've got things that my father has, left me for all practical proof. They're things that were they meant something to my dad, so they mean something to me. I just got something yesterday, that I now have to find a place for it. And I love it. I love it. I'll show you.
I can't wait to see this.
It's this case card.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Gosh.
Yeah, and it's got like the steering wheel really turns the wheels, and it's got a little 29 hypo motor in it that's detailed and correct with the export brace and the whole bit. It's really a nice piece.
Wow.
It's scale. So I bought a case for it. I'm going to put it in my TV room. But I don't like knickknacks, but I dig this,
Right.
You got to keep it away from the grandkids. It's kind of cool. It's worth something. I could sell it, but I'm going to hang on to it.
No, that's not a knickknack. That's a keepsake.
Yeah, that's kind of knickknack in my world. But yeah, I try not to take in those things. But if it's, something like that, I'll take.
I kind of respect when people are passionate about things, even to the point of me making fun of them. I work with a couple DJs who have lightsabers.
Right.
I'm like, oh, that's cool. And they make certain noises and different colors. I'm like, yeah, you're really into Star Wars. That's cool. And then you find out they bought them for $500 and spent another $150 to have them customized. And that's where I immediately just go to, dude, I don't care if Mark Hamill, Darth Vader, and give me another character's name, show up at your house. $650 on a toy as a man in his 40s, I can't do it. Now, somebody's going to be like, well, you do this. And I completely understand that. But I don't collect toys. I'm a grown man. I don't have toys. No. I have things.
You have things. And what do you have?
I got a toy.
No, you have a toy, but that has significance to something
toy.
In life. But that's significance with your dad.
Yeah, it means something.
Right. Getting to me, spending $700 on a fake sword from a movie.
Well, if my dad was Mark Hamill, maybe it would be cool to have.
Dude's dad's not Mark Hamill.
His dad's not Mark Hamill. But you know what? I'm not here to judge, just like you.
No, I give them their way, but I will say, I'm like, I respect that you're so dedicated to this. Dave, my old boss, he's got stuff. He'd be like, check it out. This Back to the Future hoverboard. I'm like, oh, that's cool. $8,000. Whoa, what?
Yeah, every time you bring up the lightsaber, I immediately think it's Davy Dave. I don't know that it is, but I think it is.
No, but he's passionate about that stuff.
Yeah.
And he spends days and weeks and months researching it and then getting it. Like, I respect the passion.
Yeah.
But I don't have anything that I look at and go, wow, good thing I've got this. I've just never been a collector.
Yeah.
Again, I do. I kind of envy people that are like, yeah, my collection's worth $200,000. I'm like, how?
Right.
Minimum wage dude at a grocery store. Where'd you come up with $200K? Well, I gave up a kidney and I sacrificed some plasma and, I traded up and I did this, I did that. It's like Connor. Kid's on his 16th car. He's been driving for 2.5 years.
He's learning. That's different. He's learning in the process.
Oh, he's totally learning, but he's also.
I don't know what you learn from collecting a lightsaber, but again, trying not. He's had
4 BMWs. I haven't. I've insured 4 BMWs. I haven't really owned or driven them.
Right.
So everybody,
you were taking a microphone there for a minute. You were having a microphone moment.
I was gonna ask Jay, do you consider this a toy?
Yeah, but see, that goes.
It's only 70 years old.
No, if I had, like, when I see DJs that have old mixers, or their old gear, or they're a guitar player that owns all of their guitars, they've never gotten rid of any. I totally get into that. And I hope I don't offend. I know I won't offend you two, but don't take this offensively. I'm fans of certain sporting organizations, but I'm not going to give them $300 of my hard-earned money so I can advertise a multi-million-dollar athlete's name,
right,
and walking down the street. I'm just as supportive as you are. You just put your money where your mouth is by buying the T-shirt.
Values.
Like, I would buy a
values.
T-shirt. I wouldn't buy a Tom Brady T-shirt. And I really like Tom Brady, but everybody's different. If nothing, I almost want to come up with something that I can look at and say, ooh, look what I collect now. That I have my own little thing. You know?
So what I was talking about with this resolution thing, I think the one thing that I do try to do every year is be more helpful and more understanding. I mean, that's really ultimately what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it comes to people collecting lightsabers.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think I
want to be more understanding.
I think I could improve on my empathy a bit and be kinder.
There's things I'm thinking about that I guess I always knew, but I didn't organize the thought in my head to be able to express it to anyone else. But there's this thing that I do, and we all do it, where we think about, just for instance, just as an example only, not to go off on a rant about this, but we romanticize the music of our youth, and we talk about how much better it is than today's music.
Well, no, that's
and
true.
How much better movies are, and how much better cars were, all of these things. And, here's the goofy part about it. If you presented all of these things to somebody who would never experienced any of them, they would probably agree with you. But the thing is that every generation does this.
Mm-hmm.
And just because, let's just say some stuff from back in the day was cooler than what's happening now. I think the young people are tired of hearing us saying it. And we get to the point where we are just dismissing anything new. We wouldn't even give it a chance at all, ever, because we're so incredibly jaded. I don't want to be that guy. And I'm very hyper aware of that going into my 50s.
I'm going to start accepting that the Prius is a great car and Cardi B is talented.
Well, I mean, you can have an opinion.
Ted Nugent and a 75 Camaro for me, please.
I'm not talking about loving everything. I'm talking about not dismissing an entire generation's culture.
I agree with you. I don't think we purposely dismiss the generation. There's definitely tracks that I listen to now and I go, this is a great new song. There is great new music. And I just find that, I'll just put it as bluntly as I can, the great music of your generation rarely gets to number one on the Billboard. Like today. Back in our day, the number one Billboard songs were the great songs because of the way music was judged.
Sometimes. I mean,
usually.
I talked about this.
And from different years in the 70s and 80s, it's consistently like, oh, well, that was a great song. Oh, Michael Jackson, Def Leppard, ooh, the Police.
Well, yeah, but
today, the top 10, Drake has 3 songs in the top 10.
Yeah.
Today. You can't name any of them.
Now,
And you're a DJ.
in my lifetime,
Weird.
I'm self-aware that I like the weird stuff. I don't like the mainstream stuff. I never have. Like, as a rule, if there's something that I like, it's mainstream. It's unusual. I usually like the things that are different. And I discussed this with Howie a little bit last night.
Yeah.
The things that people complain about with different things are the things I love about them.
Example.
Oh, well, it doesn't sound like everything else. Yeah, that's why I like it. It doesn't sound like everything else.
Like what? Give me an example. Like Captain Beefheart kind of stuff, or?
No. Okay, here's a really good example. This just happened, and this is a movie thing. This isn't a music thing, but this is an example.
Okay.
Matrix 4 came out. It's on HBO Max, and a lot of people are bashing it, and they don't like it because it's different. It makes you think too much.
Right.
And I'm thinking that's exactly why I like it.
But wasn't that
it's
the great parts of the first
and it makes
one?
me think, and I love that about it.
Yes.
It's unique. I put it as a positive
like
instead of a negative.
Exactly. I think the same way. If it makes me think, that's a good thing.
But that's the complaint most people have about it.
But
it's
that's
too
sad.
heady.
Isn't that
Wait a
sad
minute.
for them? That
I've been waiting for a movie like this. I mean,
I think
it wasn't what I expected.
One of those non-judgment points. Like, I admit, I will say I don't understand how people like something, but I will say that, and at least my inner voice will say, I'm not judging you for liking it. I'm just saying whatever it's doing for you, it doesn't do that for me. I don't have a connection. You don't have to like what I like. In fact, I'll prove it. Go on Facebook or Instagram and find out what I really like. You're really going to have a tough time because I try to keep all that to I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be put in that battle.
I don't care.
I can't believe you like this and I don't like that. No, you don't care. But the thing is, it's not even a matter of caring. It's more a matter of it gets in the way of the point of social media to me is not, hey, everyone, look at me. It's more a matter of, hey, I've got a business to run. I saw a comedian that you would love, Brian. He said, I love how on Facebook and Instagram, every time there's a tragedy in someone's life, people always have to post the same thing. You're in my thoughts and prayers. I'm so sorry. And what they're really saying is, you have a big tragedy. There's a lot of attention on you right now. But don't forget about me. I'm over here giving you thoughts and prayers, everyone. Look at me for a second. Let's not dismiss it. And I was just like, oh my God, that's scarily true in a lot of respects.
I mean, all the social media stuff is a whole other conversation. But, I mean, I guess I can say it. It's a bummer that social media has homogenized things so much. And it has. It's homogenized art in a huge way. It's homogenized fashion. It's homogenized music, movies, everything. Anytime something's a little different, there's somebody who wants to beat it up. And if they get a lot of attention, then it's the whole bully pulpit thing. Back in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s, you didn't have that.
No.
Something new or different would come out. And you may, in your little circle, suggest that you don't like it, but then you see it more and more and more. It's like, okay, you're kind of warming up to it, and then it becomes a thing. Now, you can't have a fashion trend that's different. You can't go on the runway with something a little different because enough people will bash it and destroy it so much that it doesn't stand a chance. And it's like, maybe you don't know everything.
People are very uncomfortable now.
It's a homogenized world we live in. So when something happens that's new and different and unique, I'm all over it.
Well, because it's
cracks,
a different generation,
I love it.
Brian. I explained to my kids the other day that there was a time in my life in the 80s when I would not leave the house without having ironed a crease. I don't care if I was wearing jeans. They had creases. And the game was, how sharp was your crease? And you would roll that bottom up and you'd have the shoes. And
you were one of those? Oh my God.
In the
Yeah,
mid-
I never did that. That was like a 70s thing.
I hung out with people.
My
and
mother did it
took
too,
a
my
lot of
grandma.
pride in, like, look, my pants have blue with yellow pockets, and my jacket's blue with yellow pockets too, because I got it at Tello's. So if you want to know how old you are watching this show and you know what Tello's is,
I have no idea.
Just stop.
okay.
Just
Just
stop.
saying.
My
I
God.
color
I'm
thing.
I'm just gonna try to be more understanding. I'm gonna try to,
Yeah.
but that's me not dismissing this generation's everything.
Mhm.
They've probably got something that's cool. Is my stuff better? In my opinion, yeah. But that doesn't mean that their stuff has no value. I'm still here to check it out. That's it. I
Mhm.
want to be that guy. I don't want
Brian,
to be the
that-
old
I
guy
can
who
get
just
with
sits around and these kids today. And
No.
I
Let's
don't want
not
to be
go
that
there.
guy.
But you gave me an idea. That speaker you have, could I play the exhaust note from my Tesla through it?
I could.
I mean,
make
I
it
know,
hum.
I know the new
I could
things are
make it
better.
hum.
You know,
I like Teslas. I like it.
what's that? It's my Tesla. Hey, I think they're great cars, but you know what? I want to hear something really loud. I want to see big back tires and side pipes, and
I'll record my exhaust note. You can play on
It's
on
what
the
I
MP3
grew up
player of
with.
your Tesla. You can stream it through your phone.
And you know what, Brian? I think part of it is that missing of youth. I don't think it's always judging the new kids. I think it's sometimes just missing, man, look at all the things I could have done when I was young that I didn't do.
Mhm.
I don't want these kids to get an upper. Like I told my son, I'm like, if I was 21, not married today, with a job or some money in the bank, I'd go buy a van. I'd overland the heck out of that thing, and I'd get online and try to make a social media presence and travel the world in my van. I think the fact that what we thought of being homeless 30 years ago, or Chris Farley in a van down by the river, today
Right.
becomes a status thing. I'm all for it. Like, hey kids, cut the cord, get in your van.
I was just thinking of it like this. It's like the generation thing, and
I
being
might do it.
Old guy who just everything he had was better. I'm thinking about let's just say, okay, for the sake of argument, that I don't know. There was a husband and wife who had a kid, right? Very attractive couple, and they had a kid, and their kid, hooked up with a person that maybe wasn't a raging beauty. Okay, let's just say that. It would be the equivalent of the dad saying, your mom was a lot hotter than your wife. I did a lot better than you did.
Ooh,
Well, yeah, you know what? You did, but don't rub it in.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what? Shut up and move on.
But that's love. I think you love who you love. I don't think that's a judgment point quite the same.
No.
I see what you're saying.
You see
I
what I'm
did.
saying?
But I will say, I'll still put Stranglehold up against WAP. I'm just
Okay, how about
not gonna
smarter? I don't know. Next question.
all right.
Howie,
Yes,
have you had a song going through your head lately?
Actually, I'm gonna say
If you have to think about it, you haven't had a song going through your head.
I guess I really have not that I can talk about.
Okay. All right. That's okay.
It's a date night song, and
It's okay. It's private.
I'm gonna keep it private.
We know where your head's at pizza night. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
it is. Yes,
You got
it
a song
is.
going through your head lately?
Yeah.
What?
The Other Side by SZA and Justin Timberlake.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you
Great
know what
track.
triggered it?
I heard it as bumper music on a TV show. I think the
Okay.
news. And
Oh.
they played it as bumper out
Yeah.
segment. And I rewound. I'm like, oh, what? Wait, I love that melody. It's very kind of intriguing. I rewound it and Shazammed it. And I'm like, oh, I have this as one of the promo only, exclusive hit things, kind of,
Sure.
I got it, but I didn't know I had it.
Yeah.
Like, this needs to go on a different playlist. And it inspired a new cocktail playlist of getting tracks that are newer like that, but mixing them with older.
It was a morning
Kind of
show,
thing.
wasn't it? That did
Yeah.
that? Yeah. They do that here too. I don't know why it sticks out in my head. I had heard it before, but it was just surprised to hear it as bumper music when it came out. Was when Outkast did "The Way You Move," and they were using it as morning show bumper music, and I was like, "Wow, that is hot."
Yeah, that's a great track.
That's Outkast. I know this song. Yeah.
What was the first? Just a side note with Outkast, I remember "Bombs Over Baghdad" was the first time I ever heard of them, and just love that track, "Bombs Over Baghdad."
First thing I ever remember hearing was Rosa Parks.
But that's the thing. Rosa and everything else came after Bombs. Bombs was on the album before. And I just remember thinking, this is a great song, but it's not going to do much for me as a DJ. Like, I don't know where I'm going to play it because it's so spit rapid fire. And then the next album comes out and it's like, Way You Move, Hey Ya, Rosa
Well, they did
Parks,
the one with Miss Jackson on it first.
Miss Jackson, right. Like, but that culminates, that pack of tracks. I still don't drop Bombs Over Baghdad very often, if at all. But it was just interesting that one song would get you into something that would later on become the least important track of it.
I saw something recently, and I didn't look at it close, but I go to MSN News just to check things out, and I clicked through. And there was a story that said artists that quit when they were on top of their game, and Outkast was like the picture. It's like, Speaker Box to Love Below. Absolutely. That was the...
But it made no sense that they quit then.
Well, it kind of did because I think it did. I mean, if you really look at it, because they did that whole Idlewild thing, it didn't do very well after that. So they didn't really quit on top of their game. They actually kind of...
I just think artists like that have more to say and more to do. And it's like the music industry used to be make an album, tour for 6 months, put out another album, tour. Like, the 70s, you'd have 2 albums a year from bands. It was that wasn't unheard of. And now it's like you've got to constantly hit with music. I mean, Drake now holds some record as like the most top 10 tracks of any artist. His catalog is ginormous now, and he's constantly in the top 10. And I do play him, but there's only a handful of tracks I'm playing. And
yet a hard one.
A ton of tracks out.
Really difficult for me to play Drake songs. They're just down tempo, and for what I do,
God's Plan plays. Like, he's got a new one, I think it's Too Sexy. It's actually pretty good. It samples. I can't remember the track it samples, but it's like 120 something. But it's sampling a track we know, like a famous 80s track. I just can't for the life of me.
So the song going through my head right now, and I don't know why, it came out of nowhere, is Rock Me Gently by Andy Kim.
Oh, that's a great track.
Yeah, but why is it going through my head? And
but that's one of those tracks. Like, Seasons in the Sun, every once in a while gets in my head, and I'm like, where did that come from? The Night Chicago Died.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, exactly. There are tracks that, like, that track you just said is in that list of 100 songs that'll out of nowhere. Love Is Like Oxygen by The Sweet.
By hit me
and be like, dent, and I'm like, wait, where did The Sweet show up tonight?
You know the one that pops up once in a while, and I really like it that it does, is Linda Ronstadt's remake of Heat Wave.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That particular remake, she did such a nice job on that.
Mm-hmm.
I like it better than the, was it Martha and the Vandross version? Is that who did it?
They did it. Didn't Bruce Springsteen do it too?
And I enjoyed her.
I want to say he did.
The interview or whatever you call it, documentary on Linda Ronstadt. That was really wonderful. I just saw that 2 weeks ago.
Remember Certified Lover Boy?
Certified by Lover Boy?
No. The Smash 1991 Brothers Fred. What? Oh, Right Said Fred. That's it. I'm Too Sexy.
Right.
That's the sample Drake uses in Way Too Sexy. Because for his fans,
wow, what a genius!
They don't know who Right Said Fred is.
Yeah,
what song did I swear Springsteen did that? Because there's some
Heat Wave.
covers.
Well, I don't know if he did.
On Fire, maybe.
I'm not really a Springsteen guy. I mean, I respect him, but I don't like his long epic things he does. I'm a Hungry Heart guy.
Yeah.
I think that's a good song.
Bruce Springsteen does Heat Wave.
Huh.
And he does a good version of it, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love Linda Ronstadt's version though. It's like, it's campy. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
She makes it campy, and I like campy stuff.
I forget about her all the time, and she has a great catalog. She has some great
does.
tracks.
But she just had that voice and personality when she was young. I remember seeing her in Central Park at the Walman skating rink for $3.50. And in between songs, when she spoke and said, "Our next song," I melted. She had that. I was like, oh my gosh.
She's one of those singers that you think of and say, what a prolific singer, songwriter. And she didn't write a thing.
She didn't know. She did not write.
No, she was not, the Janice Ians and
or
Carole Kings,
right?
And Joni Mitchells of the day.
Right.
There's something to be said for that period. Because I think it was the approach of music.
With everybody.
Oh yeah. Well, wasn't she with Poco, and Poco broke off to become the Eagles?
With Poco, with the Eagles, with Souther Hillman and Fury.
In fact, I think her backing band was
Riders of the Purple Sage. All those.
It was all that.
Was in there somewhere.
California, early 70s
all
stuff.
That California stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Her backing band.
They all were like, this group of people. My understanding of it, and it makes sense if you listen to it. They were really banking on like the next thing, like rock and roll was going to go away and it was going to be bluegrass.
Yeah.
So they were all getting ready to be like the front runners in this bluegrass movement. And then it kind of became kind of a country rock thing, and then eventually just rock.
Right.
Did Graham Parsons?
Graham Parsons, Rumors. Yeah.
Yeah. It was another of that incarnation of we're all going to go this way together, and then all of a sudden the Eagles just kind of went whoosh, and just went ballistic.
Yeah. Eagles did that.
Yeah.
Because
they were her backing. They were Linda Ronstadt's backing band as part of Poco.
Yes.
Was that the Eagles?
Eagles.
Yeah.
It's
They'll
just
always be the Eagles to me.
It's the Eagles.
Not
my
the.
day.
It's just in my day.
No, it's the Eagles.
Yeah.
It's Eagles.
I don't make the rules. Glenn Fry did.
That's a Glenn. Well, and
he's not with us anymore.
Not with us to defend.
But that's what he told me. It's Eagles.
If you look it up, you'll see various, like Wikipedia will say Eagles. Another site will say the Eagles.
Every album says Eagles.
I only say the Eagles.
True.
So you understand I'm not speaking about the Birds.
Oh.
So when if I said Eagles, you might stop.
I'd be completely lost. What Eagles? The Eagles. Oh, those Eagles.
That
Which
group.
Eagles? By the way, I saw a video clip the other day of our friend Don Henley, who I think is incredibly talented, who has gone completely Lars Ulrich on his music being used on YouTube.
They all did that.
He's like, we're owed billions. So he's put together a group with 60 employees whose only job is to follow YouTube videos and file claims.
I know. It's ridiculous.
Don, relax. I get it. You're worth like 250, 300 million. I know you want more, but figure out some better way to get across to the masses with your music.
There's one thing about Don that you need to probably know, and if you knew this, it would make more sense to you.
And what
he's a
would that
boomer.
be?
They just want more.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm
Give me more boomer.
I'm happy.
I played Month of
with what
Sundays.
have right
I had
now.
7 people go, I've never heard this song before. I'm like, it was on Creating the Perfect Beast. His first
Building the Perfect Beast.
Building the Perfect Beast, yes.
Mhm.
Well, the version I have was a bootleg, and it's called Creating.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
Probably the
it's
same bootlegs you have of the Eagles.
It's actually called The Creating a Perfect Beast. Yeah, it says the.
Jay, you're never going to hear the end of it.
I could have written it in with a Sharpie. No, but it's a great song. Month of Sundays. I mean, it's so well written. Age of Innocence is a great album too.
End of Innocence.
What's that?
End of Innocence.
End of Innocence.
See, this is why you're here. Because I keep you on your toes. I know what it's called. But if I say End of Innocence, nothing happens. But if I
remember, oh my gosh, you're having flashbacks. I remember when I first started doing wedding stuff. And there was a guy I worked with who was exactly like that. He was old school. He was super talented. The guy knew his stuff. but he'd screw things up. And this was like 89, and it was time to like get into some kind of like, dance energy set at an event. And he looked at me and said, all right, Red, it's time for you to do this. Play that Buffalo Stampede song. I'm like, all right, gotcha. Yeah, I knew exactly what he meant, but it was just great. Buffalo Stampede. Yeah. Like, it's like, yeah, that's Jay.
I tried.
No, wait.
He's always close.
I'm not on apple bottom jeans, though. I'm not that.
No, wait a minute, Brian. That's the J.
Yeah.
The J.
That's
the J.
2022. It'll be the J.
The J.
The J.
So everyone's clear. No, I think there's
He lives in the Temecula.
I think there's room for
off the 455. I don't know.
learning. I mean, I pride myself the same way you guys do. And I say this all the time, and it's one of the most truisms of being a DJ is as you get older, unless you shut yourself off, you get better. Because as the kids come in,
I think so.
And they're like, hey, man, I'm a new DJ, been around for 5 years. I got this stuff on lockdown. Well, you have this on lockdown. We have this on lockdown because I've got this. I mean, I can talk to my clients intelligently about everything going back to the 20s. You need to respect that and ask questions and not just go, yeah, I've got this new Drake remix. That's cool. And the guy throwing the party that wrote you the check's daughter is going to be thrilled. But at some point when he says, hey, can you play something slow? And you pull out, new Ariana Grande 34 plus 35 and go, here you go. And he goes, not really what I was thinking.
Yeah, right.
That's the joy of my job. Every year it changes a little bit. I've seen the change over time of we got away without doing a lot of mixing, and then it became mixing, then it became short tracks and long tracks, and everyone's got a perspective, and no one's 100% right. There is no perfect DJ.
No.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah. The one thing that I think that we have in common, us seasoned guys, with some of the ones that are coming up right now, is that it's always for both of us a constant, voyage of discovery. We're always
it's joyful though.
Things.
I take great joy in finding new music. I get excited about the SZA track.
They are too. they may be discovering things that we already knew about.
But I think a lot of them write that off and go, I'm not going to need to ever really know much about disco. I got Staying Alive and I got Casey and the Sunshine Band. I'm good. You are. And we could put together the top 200 the same way Mobile Beat and DJ Intelligence and everyone else does and say, here's the 200 go-to songs that you could play. But the reality is what shapes you as an artist, performer, entertainer that makes you different is not playing the exact same 200 songs at every single event, every single year.
I posted a picture. I had to pull the Mustang out of the garage yesterday to get Eris's brother's truck in my shop so we could fix the wiper motor. Anyway, Eris was in charge of the music and he was playing country, so I went and talked to Mom because I refused to be in the shop when country was being played. But
what kind of country though? Good country or
no? Hank Williams Jr. country. So
real country.
And I don't like it. I don't.
Real country.
No,
it both kinds of music.
I have bad memories
Country and
associated
Western.
with that kind of stuff.
That's girl.
So anyway, I come back out and he's changed it to funk. And I hear this song that I don't think I'd ever heard before.
Ray Parker
playing
Jr.
it. And in my mind, I'm thinking, what the hell is this? It sounds like a Parliament Funkadelic track I haven't heard before. That's what it sounds like. But I don't know this song. And towards the end of the song, he says, yeah, there's a guy I work with, and every time I play this Bootsy Collins song, he comes over and says, you're not supposed to know anything about Bootsy Collins, but I love this song. I'm like, I'd never heard this song. So here's this 24-year-old kid who's schooling me on something I didn't know about.
It's magic. It's magic.
I never know.
I did a set 7 or 8 years ago at DJ Expo. and I was on the main stage in that little Times Square area, the big stage, and I had to do a 15, 20-minute set. And it went really, really well. But I admit to you the same thing I would be happy to tell anybody. Of the 14 tracks I played in 20 minutes, I think 10 of them came through my son.
Yeah.
Because I said something about doing Expo and I got to do a main stage. What are you going to play? I said, I'd like to do like a house set. Oh, have you heard this? Really cool Montel Jordan. This is how we do it. House mix. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Oh, do you like Jefferson Starship? Yeah. Oh, this White Rabbit remix. I'm like,
Oh, he's on it.
this is
He's on
gorgeous. And Connor gave me all these tracks that I ended up playing.
Connor's always been on it. That's his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
No, and I was just like, he's like, yeah, I'm friends with Borges on Instagram. I'm
Connor
like,
and Colin are very different
what?
kids in that regard.
oh, totally.
Yeah.
Night and day.
Yeah.
Night and day. But that's the thing. It's like, I love finding new music. I like screwing with people with music. When people come to me and go, that Chris Stapleton, that Tennessee Whiskey, oh my God, bring a tear to your eye. I'm like, you heard the original? No, I think he wrote it. I'm like, no, he didn't.
Yeah, it's a very
You
old
sure?
song.
And you play the David Allen Coe version, which
Yeah.
would be like me showing up on an acoustic guitar in the street doing Cashmere out of tune and off beat. That's how different they sound. That's literally, you listen to David Allen Coe and it's like, it's night and freaking day. And then you realize very
It's true.
quickly, it's the talent of Chris Stapleton to interpret, much
Right.
like Jimi Hendrix
Right.
interpreting All Along the Watchtower from Bob Dylan.
Or
Because
Soft Cell doing Tainted Love. Okay, maybe that was a stretch, but I think it's better.
I'm just saying.
I think it's better. I think Hall & Oates' You Lost That Love and Feeling is better than the Righteous Brothers, and it's a very unpopular opinion, but I believe it to be true.
I respect your opinion, though I don't agree with you. And I do love Hall & Oates.
I respect your opinion, but you're wrong. Yes.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong.
No.
I'm saying
A lot of people
if
don't
I
like.
had to pick one of those two to play, I'd probably play the Righteous Brothers.
I can't stand the Righteous Brothers. There's something about them. I think they're just, they're righteous. I don't like that about them. They're just too righteous.
I'm like,
They're
where's
self-righteous. How's that?
we've
the
had a half an
self-righteous
hour,
brothers.
45-minute discussion about being accepting and in the new year, and all of a sudden get to the Righteous Brothers, Brian just backpedals everything.
The self-righteous brother.
I think collectively as a group, we should have a New Year's resolution of being smile more, being happy, being funny.
having a coherent show topics that John's poor son can name, actually pull something from this and give it a name because there's something in there that
Yeah.
kind of
luck,
follows the
John.
pattern of the topic.
Yeah, this is going to be called, when this comes out in November, it's going to be called Brian Doesn't Like the Righteous Brothers. I can see it now. By the way, I do have a resolution for the show.
Oh
right.
boy.
I have a resolution for the show, and I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
I think starting in 2022, I think it would be pretty cool, since we're very music driven, to every week, because we do this every Tuesday, no matter where we are in the world. I think it would be awesome to have one of us take a minute or two and introduce the masses to maybe a song or a group that we don't know that well. And be able to say, hey, you know what, this week I'm going to give you guys the Spiders, or Spider. Actually, they're a group that's not it's just Spider. Spider's a New York group.
Oh, no. It's the Spiders.
But Spider's big thing was their drummer went on to be really famous, this guy Anton Fig.
He
played
did
Ace Frehley,
with David Letterman.
Yeah. But they had a couple of really cool poppy songs that came out back in 1980.
Yeah.
But the thing is this, if somebody then goes to YouTube and looks them up, they're liable to trip over something else.
Mm-hmm.
Now this new music can open up to them. So maybe every show, one of us could just, we do Brian, then Howie, then me, Brian, Howie, me. And we just come up with a song or a group that maybe the audience wouldn't know.
If you can do it for a minute, I'm on board.
Yeah, we'll just do it
If
for
you get 1 minute on the clock, Jay, you have.
Yeah,
1 minute.
No, I don't clock.
And maybe along the journey they'll discover some of that, the Metallica.
Well, if the
Or the
Metallica was
Poison.
brought up,
The
Or-
Poison.
but see, I would talk about the Angel Witch,
The Def
which
Leppard?
Metallica was very into.
Yeah.
You know, we could do the Aerosmith. I don't
The
know. if they're still
Aerosmith, yeah.
Eagles.
There is a band called The. It exists. And,
There is.
and by the way,
Honestly.
speaking of, Jay, if you don't know what
It's My Life
does the coolest version of I Saw the Light. If you've never heard it, please
It's awesome.
listen to it. You'll
Really?
love it.
You have to.
I Saw the Light by Todd Rundgren.
No.
No, the Hank Williams I Saw the Light.
Oh, but I'm wondering if Todd's is a cover of Hank Williams then.
No, it is not. We'll do this after the show. Anyway, we got to go, guys. It's been an hour. We'll see you next year.
Happy New Year, everybody. Stay well.
You'll
stay
see us
safe.
next year
Happy
because
New
this
Year.
video's not going up until
Yeah.
sometime in 2022.
Oh, actually, no, because of the dates. Happy Flag Day.
Happy
Yeah,
Flag.
happy Flag Day.
Happy Arbor Day.
We'll see you.